Much. How about yourself?
I'm good, thank you very much. The last Tuesday and Wednesday, I went out to camping. I was camping and it was great. At the beginning, I was like, "Oh my God, what I'm gonna do 2 days without internet or without my cell phone and without technology in general?" But at the end, I really enjoyed. It was good.
I think it is a good experience, right? Because then you realize how dependent sometimes we become on technology. Isn't that true?
Yeah, yeah. Actually, that was the thing that I realized. But it was good.
Yeah. What was your conclusion, Mickey? Because that is a very interesting topic.
Mm, well, normally, I get used to use my cell phone like almost every day and all the time. So when I was there, it was like, well, my cell phone isn't working here because there's not signal, so I cannot send messages or I cannot respond messages or check social media and more because with the page of sneakers and I told you that I'm making with my mom a tour to Six Flags. I was just
Ah, yeah,
checking
that's great.
messages
Yes.
and it's sometimes a little bit not difficult, but you feel like tired when you are just on the cell phone checking if someone is sending you a message or not. So when I was there, I realized that it is necessary to sometimes take like these uh, breaks, like this time to rest of technology in general. And was a good experience, to be honest.
That is great. That is great. I think that is an activity that every human being should do it. Some people with more frequency, some others maybe not so much. It depends obviously on the personal circumstances, but I believe that is a great idea when you're able to detach yourself from the world, right? And some people do that. I'm not. Some civilizations used to do that to meditate, right? This art of meditation is simply amazing. I haven't done that. I haven't done it. I haven't gone out camping, but I have sometimes decided to detach myself from the world. I say I'm gonna be just with absent from the world from 1 hour, from 2 hours, from all the evening, etc. Depending on the circumstances, also I decide to do that, and it is very liberating, I would say. Um,
Mhm.
what was your main feeling, Mickey, when you detached yourself from the world? I'm sure that you had the opportunity to meditate important things. I'm not asking you to share your private thoughts and ideas, but the general sensation. What was the general sensation of the state of mind? Let's say state of mind during uh, the camping. Were you alone or were you with friends?
Just with one uncle.
Oh, okay,
Yeah, this uncle lives in Vallarta, so
okay.
he came to Irapuato for visiting, and he told me that if I want to go out to camping, and I was like, I'm not sure about it, but then I decided, and it was a really good experience. And yeah, when I was when I was there, at the beginning it was like difficult, I would say, because suddenly there's nothing of signal, there's nothing of connection with the world in general. So when you are get used to it, I think that it's so difficult to just suddenly detach yourself from the world. But uh, when the time was passing, I started to enjoying it. To be honest, I started to realize that sometimes it's necessary to take a break from the world, because there are a lot of things that are happening in an exact moment around the world, and when you are just focusing on that, sometimes you feel tired and you feel like, um, mm, yeah, you don't feel comfortable in some cases. So I think that it's necessary to stay just you in a place outside of the world, and you know and enjoy from your own company and the company with the people around you.
Right. Did you feel at a certain point that you were connecting with nature, Mickey? And if it was the case, how was that connection?
Yeah, yeah. mm, for example, uh, I was more focusing on things that normally I see in the streets, but I really focus on that. For example, uh, the light of the moon in the night. It was like, oh my god, you can see all the stars because there's not light here, and you can see all the stars, and you can see that the moon shines too. And was something that normally that those things happens, but we don't pay attention to that. So it was something that I really enjoyed, and was like, oh my god, those things are in all places, but you don't realize of that.
Yes, that would be something like the marvels of nature or the marvel or the world are available, right?
Yeah.
But
Hmm.
we sometimes simply ignore them or are not aware of them.
Hmm. Yeah.
That is a very important conclusion. That is a very important conclusion. Um, how was it? Well, you mentioned that the evolution of your feeling at the beginning was a little bit anxious or anxiety or anguish, or how did it evolve and then it became when you started to enjoy things at the beginning? You said that was difficult. What was the original feeling? Anxiety, worry, fear, when you were not totally tranquil, when you were not tranquil, when you were not quiet or calm, what was the original sensation or feeling?
Mm, at the beginning was anxious. I think
Okay,
so, because I was anxious, like if someone is sending me a message, or if someone
okay,
sent me money and I didn't check it, and this person is like worried about if I scam him or scam her,
right,
and that was the beginning. And then, like, oh, I couldn't post a picture today, or I couldn't upload a story on my page. If someone
okay.
sends me a message, more things related to my my
The
business.
business,
Yeah.
okay. That is interesting to notice and to realize because then I'm not saying that is a bad thing, but you notice that you are very attached to your business. I'd say that that is positive, but what you did is also very good because then you detach yourself from everything and then you're able to meditate and reach your own conclusions about life, about love, about peace, about friendship, about I don't know, about all the topics that we sometimes think about, right?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Was was a good experience, because those last days I was like just uh, I'm not gonna say that I'm rich, but I was just looking like things to buy, just for the, how can I say, for the excitement of the moment. You're like, oh my god, this is a new Lego or something like that. That are things that normally you used 1 2 days, and then you left in one place of your room. And when I was there, I realized of that, because I was like just looking things, just looking sneakers, just looking material things in general. And I don't think that it's a a good manner to just look in those things.
Right. Yeah. Well, so is it? fair, or is it correct to say that the beginning, the original feeling of anxiety migrated or changed towards a feeling of calmness, plentiness? You felt you were
Yeah.
plentiness, or fullness. I don't know how to call the word, the feeling that you were feeling, but fullness, satisfaction, or mind satisfaction, or spiritual satisfaction, maybe.
Hmm. Yeah.
Well, that is a great insight and a great lesson, obviously for yourself, but maybe for your friends and family that are around you, to share this experience and the positive feeling that it gives. Because we were talking about something very similar recently in the doctoral degree, right? And
Mm.
the comment was that the society has become in such a rush that people are just thinking of buying and selling. And sometimes we forget about enjoying, right?
Yeah. Hmm.
It is true that we need to buy and we need to sell, but the world has much more than that, right? The words that you were saying, enjoying, looking at nature, thinking about the beauty of trees, nature, or how the plants, the vegetation grows. I don't know if there was a lot of water, but now, for example, we were talking about the world, Mexico in particular, is suffering a water scarcity.
Yeah. Hmm.
So this is even, it's not a simple problem. This has become a serious problem. Water scarcity is now taking political dimensions. So w- one of the curious things about water scarcity is that there is plenty of water. The thing is that we don't for example, in the oceans, in the rivers, in the lakes, there are places where there are huge lakes. um, why don't we investigate in Mexico, Mickey, where are there lakes with the most water, or where there is most water in Mexico? Please, if we can find out where is there most water, or where's there the most water in Mexico. Where is there the most water in Mexico? Uh,
Lake
wow,
Chapala.
Chapala Lake.
Hmm.
Well, it's very Pátzcuaro, Lake Pátzcuaro. Well, I'm very sorry to say this, but the Chapala Lake, do you know which of the famous rivers leads to the Chapala Lake?
Sorry, teacher. Could you repeat it?
Yeah. Do you know which famous river
Hmm.
leads or arrives or ends in the Chapala Lake?
Now.
Is the Lerma River.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the Lerma River originates in the small town of Lerma next to Toluca, and it gets the waters mainly from the melting of the ice of the volcano in Toluca, which is the Nevado de Toluca. But unfortunately, immediately as it leaves Lerma, all the industries start to pollute it. Then
Yeah.
it goes up, and then it comes to Guanajuato. And then in Salamanca, we pollute it again.
Hmm.
We give it like the second doses,
Hmm.
and
Yeah.
then it finally ends in Chapala, the river. And I was just talking about this Lerma River, that it has been a political problem for 3, 4 decades, and the governors talk about the duties of who's going to clean it, how are we going to stop polluting it, what measures should we take to alleviate the problems that it causes, because at the end, the damage is in the state of Jalisco, but the problems are created elsewhere. The problems are created in Guanajuato, and in the state of Mexico in Toluca. So, and it's one of the greatest reservoirs of water, the Chapala Lake. I don't know what the capacity is.
Mm, let
The
me check.
capacity of the Chapala Lake.
8,000 million cubic meters.
Right. Okay. And let's see if you can please um, share which are the rivers that end in the Chapala Lake, Mickey, please.
Yes.
Which are the rivers that end in the Chapala Lake?
What
One
are
of
the
them is
rivers that what teacher?
that end or that lead to the Chapala Lake.
The Chapala Lake. It is fed by the Rio Lerma, Rio Sula, Rio Guaracha, and Rio Duero,
Okay,
uh, and drained by the Rio Grande de Santiago.
right. The Rio de Santiago ends in the Pacific Ocean and that goes to Nayarit.
Mm.
Uh, it goes through Ocotlan. It empties in the Pacific Ocean. And it's one of the longest rivers, actually, the Santiago Lake, the Santiago River. All right. Um, well, there have been many studies by academicians, by many people about the Lerma River, Mickey, and it is unfortunate that having such a vast amount of water and leading to one of actually it says here that is the largest lake in Mexico that we pollute it. So uh, I think we need to make conscious of these problems because then have you come to Leon recently, Mickey?
Yes, sure. 2 weeks ago,
2 weeks ago.
I realized that you know that they are making a new mall near from how is it called
Altasia
Cerro
or
Gordo. There's a new mall where there's the building of Ubea. You know that they are
uh,
making like apartments, and it's supposed that it's gonna be bigger than Plaza Mayor. Have you seen
really?
it? Yeah.
Oh, I
Let
didn't know
me
that.
check the name of the. Uh, mm, 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 um, City Park is called City Park.
City Park. Okay. And that you said that's going to be close to Cerro Gordo.
Yeah, let me see if I found here pictures of.
Okay. Oh, yes, please. And maybe you can share a couple
Mhm,
of
yeah,
pictures.
let me
Thank you.
share. Mm, can you see it?
Yes.
Yeah,
Let's.
now it's like this. Yeah, it is
Oh,
near from I don't know the streets, but it is near for from where they do the uh, Parque Metropolitano. It is called.
yes, Parque Metropolitano. Yes, is this?
Yeah, I think that it's near from that, and it's supposed that's gonna be the biggest mall in Leon. But the issue is
Okay.
that now for the scarcity, it was suspended. The last week was suspended, and if they advance so much in the project, they are telling that probably the owners of Plaza Mayor started to you know, use their influences to avoid the construction of this new new mall because obviously it's near of the same sound, so probably could affect to Plaza Mayor. But they mentioned that it was for the scarcity.
Okay, well, could be both. They
Yeah.
say, well, it's going to affect the water supply because of the water scarcity, so let's halt the project. It makes sense. It totally makes sense. Um, can you look up the pictures, the recent pictures of the Presa del Palote, please, Mickey? Which is
Hmm.
not far from where you said. It's
Yeah, yeah.
exactly next door.
Mm,
Well, it's dramatically empty recently. The level has gone down so much that it is a huge, yeah, 20% of the capacity. Yeah, it's total sadness. Very, very sad. It's, uh, it's an icon of León. To go to the Presa del Palote is an icon, and they are draining the water. So yeah, it looks terribly low.
it is. This place is where they do the festival of.
Yeah, the balloons,
Yeah, yeah, right.
which is, yeah, that's gonna be in November, I think, right? In a couple
Mm-hmm.
of months. It is
Yeah.
right there. Yeah, right next at the edge of the lake.
Mm-hmm.
They take off the balloons.
Yeah, like
It's
in this part, right?
exactly right. Yeah, in that
Yeah.
area.
I
Exactly.
went the last year, so I I looked at the picture and it was like, ah, I was there.
Right. Yeah. 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 How do you like the festival, by the way, which is gonna be soon?
I really like it. The issue is that there are a lot of people. There are a lot of people, and you cannot move because I went for the to the concert that they did. It was a DJ called Martin Garrix, and with another with another DJ, and the sound, to be honest, for all the people who was attending, it was so bad. You could listen the talk from the person in front of you instead of listening to the speakers there. But a part of
Well,
that was good. Ah, and
oh,
apart, I remember that it started to rain, and it
oh, okay.
was a disaster for around 15 minutes.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, this year has rained so little that the lake has started to dry out. It's not totally dry, but it's worrying. People are really concerned, are really worried that the level of the lake is so low, but incredibly low, like never in the history. That is actually not a lake, it's a dam. It's a presa, right?
Dam?
Dam, DAM, the dam
DAM.
is incredibly low. There are other dams in Mexico which also experience low levels. Let's see the most important dams in Mexico, please, Mickey. Most important dams in Mexico. There is one in La Huasteca, which I don't know the level. Well, Chicoacén, of course.
Mm, this
Biggest dam.
this website is from 2010. Let's update it.
Oh, okay.
Mm, yeah, actually, in the Sierra de Guanajuato, there's a dam. It is called, I think, Peralillo.
Peralillo, yes, 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 of course.
Yeah, and I was there because now it's like a private space, and you pay for access, and you can camping there. And it was empty. The dam was empty too.
That is
Mm,
that is dramatic. It's truly bad.
let's see.
Chicoacén Dam, yeah, that is in Chiapas.
Chiapas State. the Temazcal Dam in Oaxaca.
Ah, okay, that I don't know. Um, um,
Mm,
Opposition to dams. Well, what happens with dams is that they store water, which is a very positive thing. That's what we need. We need to store the water mainly from the rain.
mhm.
So one of the most important projects that we can develop as a nation, I would say, I don't want to say the word national security, but incredibly important would be collection of water.
Yeah.
We need to start collecting the water of the rain. How could we do that? Well, let's use our imagination for a little bit. How can we collect water massively in every house, in every place, mostly water of the rain? How could we do that?
Hmm. Well, first of all, we need to don't waste the water that we have.
Well, yeah, that is a project to save the water, not to spend it so much.
For example, here in Los Arcos, now there are, I think that there are 3 days where we don't have water, so we
Oh,
need to
really?
take our baths in the same day because probably the next day there's not gonna be water.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, water is becoming a national problem, a really serious problem, the water scarcity. How can people collect water? How can people collect water and store it somewhere?
Mm, in their normal use or from the
Yeah,
land?
yeah, yeah, exactly. How can it be done? And it doesn't have to be in the house, can be in the farm. Um, so there are many ways to collect water. Some of them is, for example, harvesting, rainwater harvesting, and that is when you collect and store the rainwater that falls on rooftops, on gutters and other surfaces.
Hmm.
So it says, here is one idea. You need to install gutters. Let's see. How do you install gutters and downspouts on rooftops to channel rainwater into storage containers? Okay, that is a very good idea. Let's see how to store water. Let me share for a moment so that we have these ideas and discuss them. Let's see if you
So
like.
I stopped sharing.
Yes, Mickey, please. I'm going to start sharing here how to store water, and then install gutters and downspouts on rooftops to channel rainwater. Which are the gutters? Do you want to? I'm sure you have an idea, but let's look it up, Mickey, so that you have a clear idea on pictures
Hmm.
what a gutter is and downspouts on rooftops. Just put in internet gutters and downspouts on rooftops, please. So gutter guard.
There's a page called All About Gutters.
Okay.
Okay, I found here a picture.
Okay, you want to share it, Mickey, please?
Hmm. Like this.
Okay. Let's see. Oh yeah, you're sharing it. Yeah. Right. Exactly. Exactly. Gutters. Right. Perfect. Gutter and downspout sizes. What do you think of that idea?
Um, it's supposed that gutters help um, to move the
Collect water.
water, to collect water,
Yes.
to but where it is collected and goes
Well,
to
it
the
can.
garden
Yeah.
or
No, it can go to a. It can go to a cistern, and
okay.
in the cistern, you store it for a while until you need it, right?
But for example, I don't know. I heard that uh, now the water of the rainings, um, the majority it is how do you say contaminated, right?
Polluted.
Yeah, polluted.
Uh,
So it could affect, for example, if you use this water for take a bath or something like that.
I don't think so. I've heard the same. I've heard the same. And then I asked an expert, a friend. You met Chuy, the guy who talked in the last year, actually, in December. I don't remember. I don't know if you remember him, but
Oh, yeah, yeah. The sir.
yeah, yeah, the older gentleman, yes.
Yeah, yeah. I
And
remember.
he says that that water. He's an engineer in agronomy. He's
Mm,
very prepared, and he's already retired. He retired from his job. Now he's more or less resting, right? And I asked him the same question. He says that is the cleanest water.
mhm.
So let's ask Mr. Internet, is the water of the rain polluted or clean? Well, depends what you rate, right?
Yeah.
It says the levels of pollution, pollen, mold, and other contaminants are low, possibly lower than your public drinking water supply. Keep in mind, rain does pick up low levels of bacteria as well as dust and occasional insect parts. So you may want to treat rainwater before drinking it. Okay, so it is not extremely good to drink, but that's one thing. The other is that it's polluted, or that if you take a bath with it, it's going to affect us.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, that will be a good idea to implement. The issue here is that now there there's no raining, but when there's rain, we need to take advantage.
yeah, that is true. Um, there is a concern on how to provoke rain. You think that trees and vegetation, the foliage, more or less attracts the rain, or how are rains provoked, or why does it rain? Is the cycle of water,
Hmm.
but it looks like a primary discussion, right? But actually, it's very profound because you say, well, yeah, the cycle of water, the water evaporates, then it goes to the forms clouds, then it rains, and it's a cycle. Yeah, but what happens if it
Again.
doesn't rain, right?
Yeah,
So
actually, I think that I read that the popularity of tequila and agave and all stuff, and we know that those plants uh, don't require a lot of water. And if, for example, when I go through the highway, we can see a lot of
agave plantations.
agave plantations, and I think that it could affect to raining, right? Because those plants don't require so much water for and so the cycle water, I think that could be affected for that.
Could be. That's a good hypothesis. I don't know if it is should. I don't know. It makes sense. Should be connected with the plantations that you have. So if you plant trees, the trees must attract the water, I suppose. So let's find out. Let's investigate. Uh, how is water produced? How is rainfall produced? How is rainfall produced? How is rainfall produced? And it says here, let me share for a moment. Um, I'm going to share for us for a moment here. and see if you agree with this comment. Okay, here it says, I wonder if you can read it, Mickey, please. Clouds are made of water droplets.
Clouds are made of water droplets. Within a cloud, water droplets condense onto one another, causing the droplets to grow. When these water droplets get too heavy to stay suspended in the cloud, they fall to the earth as rain. Come to think of it, what makes snow, hail, and sleet?
Okay, that's very important. So let's see. We want to know how can we provoke rain, right? We know the cycle, but for example, do forests attract rain? That would be the question, maybe. Do forests or trees attract rain? What do you think, Mickey, before we check the answer? You think it does or it doesn't?
I think it does.
You think it does? Could be. I also suspect that it does. Do forests or trees attract rainfall? Okay, let's see. Can you read it, please?
All that water vapor rising from the forest feeds moisture-laden clouds while also causing convection. Together, these effects accelerate the formation of rain, which falls to the soil and gets taken up all over again. This cycle of absorption, evaporation, and rain happens everywhere there are plants.
Okay, so that more or
Mhm,
less justifies your theory, and I believe then that your theory is totally valid, and that it is true that if there are no plants, there's not going to be rain. More or
mhm,
less the idea, right?
mhm.
Okay, so probably we should start planting trees, don't you think? Or plant more trees to attract the water.
Yeah, I think that there's one part of the possible solution because we have seen it. For example, here in Irapuato, there are not so many trees. I think so.
Uh-huh.
So I think that if we start to planting trees, obviously we need to check the type of tree, depending of the weather, depending of the um, how do you say the soil, the no
The
the
soil, yes, the
yeah.
soil, the type of soil.
hmm and yeah, I think that it would be a one part of the solution.
So one part would be to collect water. Let's put it here. Solutions to the water scarcity. We're going to do the job that our politicians need to do, but no problem. We do it. Okay.
Let's do it for them.
Let's do it for them, right? Then we pass them the invoice. Okay. So water scarcity solutions. What is the first solution, Mickey?
Planting more trees.
Planting, planting more trees, more trees. Okay, that is part of the solution. Another solution would be
Mm, uh, Use different methods to collect water.
use different methods to collect water. What were two of them?
Mm, Gutters, did you say?
Gutters, yes. And the other
Um,
name was,
Downspouts,
yes, downspouts. Gutters and downspouts in roofs, right?
roofs,
In the roofs of houses, in the roofs of houses,
rooftops.
in rooftops, right? In rooftops. All right, those are great solutions. Number three, other solution.
Mm, well, I think that this solution will be the hardest one for all the companies, but try to don't pollute the water that we
Okay.
still have. or reduce the pollution at least.
Reduce the pollution. Try to reduce. Okay, to reduce the amount of water that they that they pollute. Okay, there was another idea from this same guy, which probably you would agree,
Mm-hmm.
and that solution would be rationalize the water, rationalize the usage of water, like they are doing in your cluster over there in Los Arcos and in other clusters too, in Irapuato and in Leon too. They're
Mm-hmm.
starting to rationalize the usage of water. You're going to have so many liters per family, so many liters per farm, so many liters per, etc. But not only with us, but also in uh, not only in the urban areas, but in the agricultural areas.
Yeah, of course. I think that there's where most water they use, right?
Yeah, exactly. And that is important to know because then we think that we need to tighten our belt, which is more or less true. But really, most of the water is spent in agriculture. So let's look up, please, Mickey, if you can, how is the water consumed or how is water used or spent or wasted, uh, talking about agriculture, suburban areas, urban areas, industries, or what industries use most water or more water? Which industries spend more water? Which industries?
I found here a picture. Let
Oh, if you can
me
please share it,
share it with
please.
you.
Yes.
Look,
Okay. Oh, this graph is excellent. Okay.
agriculture 70%.
60%, right? Yes. So it is municipal, industry, and agriculture. Okay. The justification is that, well, the water is important in agriculture because we get the food from there, right?
Hmm. But
However, yes,
yeah, yeah, continue. Mhm.
yeah. However, there are many examples of civilizations, societies, which make a very, very efficient use of water. Oh, that's another fantastic graph. Can we take a look at it? Can we discuss it? How do you interpret that graph that you just put in? It's great. That's a great graph. What do you think?
Yeah, we see here that there are the percentages from 0 to 100%, and we have here the like the different topics that we're talking. For example, here in the orange color is agriculture, in the gray color is industrial, and in the blue color is the municipal. So we can see here the different continents divided: Europe, Northern America, Southern America, Asia, Africa, and South Asia. And we can see how they use uh, their manage of water and how they spend it in depending of the areas that they use.
Yeah, that is a great graph. So most of the water in the world is used in Asia and Africa and South Asia, obviously, which is China, India, etc. All right. There is a country that manages the use of water in an impressive way, and that is Israel. I'm sure you have heard about them. So let me
Hmm.
put how does Israel manage the use of water shortage? Let's look that.
Are you gonna share?
Yes, let me share, please. Excuse me a second, please. Give me a second.
Yes, sure. Don't worry.
Okay, I thought. Okay, so here, um, the whole screen here, share, and here it says desalination. Okay, there is a crisis in Israel, and they have been solving this crisis, desalinating the sea, the ocean. So let's read this, Mickey, please.
Yes, desalination. This has been the most important and far-reaching measure to solve Israel's water crisis. For the last 2 decades, Israel has been extracting salt from the Mediterranean seawater with reserve in osmosis, converting it into drinkable water for the nation.
Okay, well, this is just amazing. Um, so apparently, there are four methods used to solve Israel's water crisis. Um, well, let's see. This can be seen. I'll try to increase the size. Okay, here. This is very, very interesting and very important for the world. So let's see. Can you read the first method, Mickey, please?
Yeah, water recycling. The National Water Authority built water treatment systems that recycle the water from drains to use for agricultural irrigation. Israel now recycles 86% of its rainwater, the most in the world, with Spain a distant second at 19%. Furthermore, low-flow toilets and shower heads were installed across the country.
Yeah, so imagine 86, first place. Second place, Spain with 19.
Yeah,
So I don't want to know where we stand, but I think that we recycle like 3% or 2% of the of our water, which is incredibly bad because then we're just wasting the water, right? So low flow toilets and shower heads were installed across the country. All right, that's one method, and we want to discuss that in a moment. Let's go for the second one, Mickey, please. Monitoring leaks.
monitoring leaks. Leaks in pipes and water systems can cause serious water loss. The World Bank estimates that on average countries lose 30% of their piped water to leaks. To solve Israel's water crisis, Israelis invented technology to monitor and discover leaks early on. As a result, Israel now only has a leakage rate of 7 to 8%.
Compared to the world average of 30%.
Wow.
Right. Okay, that's method number two. And then there is method number three.
Desalination. This has been the most important and far-reaching measure to solve Israel's water crisis. For the last decades, Israel has been extracting salt from Mediterranean seawater with reverse osmosis,
Reverse osmosis, yeah.
converting it into drinkable water for the nation. Desalination is not a technique exclusive to Israel. Around 300 million people worldwide get their water through desalination. Along the Israeli coast, there are 5 desalination plants that now provide almost all the nation's tough water.
Well, these desalination plants is a project that they propose to install in Mexico for the Tuxpan power plant that Mitsubishi manages.
Mhm.
Mitsubishi, as you know, they build all kinds of products, not only cars or elevators, or they also
Yeah.
build power plants, transformers, all kinds of products, right? And there was a plan to desalinate the Gulf of Mexico water, and the idea was right, just great. I ignore why they didn't carry out with that project, but the idea would have been just fantastic for us, because if you're able to desalinate the Pacific or the Gulf of Mexico water, well, imagine most of the problems of water would be solved.
Yeah. Mhm.
I don't know why they don't have that. And also, why don't they build plants to desalinate the water here in Mexico if they have the technology, right?
Mhm.
Well, but then there are countries. Well, one of them is Israel that can desalinate water. Let's see number four, Mickey, please.
Yes, adding water to the Sea of Galilee. Although the Mediterranean now provides most household water in Israel, the Sea of Galilee remains a crucial source of water for irrigation. In addition to its ecological and climatological importance, yet it can experience high fluctuation of its water levels due to short and long-term drought. To remedy this, the Israeli government is building a pipe that will carry desalinated water 31 kilometers to the Sea of Galilee's tributary when the water level drops. The techniques used to solve Israel's water crisis show what the future may look like for arid regions, especially coastal ones. Hopefully, with increasing adaptation and affordability of techniques such as desalination, more countries can improve their water security.
Okay. Well, this is reassuring, and this gives us hope that the problems can be solved. What do you think of this story, Mickey, of Israel?
Yeah, I think that one time we saw a documentary about the
Yes.
process that they use. From the first time that I saw it, it was so interesting, and obviously the first question that came to my mind was why Mexico it is not applying that, and why so many countries are not applying this method, because we know that scarcity and pollution water it's not a future problem; it's a problem that we have seen in the past and now, and I think that it is uh, we are a little bit late, but I think that if we like society and the government reunite and work from that to work to how can I say to solve that, I think that we can manage this and probably try to fix the problem.
Yeah, that is true. That is totally true. Um, it'll be interesting to know, first of all, if it's an exclusive technology, if they would be interested in sharing this technology, because that would give them the monopoly.
Mhm.
It's a very, very powerful technology that can give you lots of advantages. On the one hand, on this, yeah, that means if they're willing to share the technology, that'd be awesome. I don't know if they would, or in the what would they expect in retribution. But the technology is there. I don't know if the Japanese companies can also desalinate water as well, because long time ago when I was in Siemens, that was almost 20 years ago, I learned that the Japanese had the technology to desalinate water. Let's check. Let's check that, Mickey, please. Which countries have the technology to desalinate water, please? Can we? Please. There, there may be some other countries that desalinate water.
Mm, mm, mm.
The problem with water with salt is that it not only cannot be drunk, you cannot drink it, but the problem is also that it can create corrosion in many processes and machinery. So you need to desalinate it.
Yeah, yeah. I found here there information, but I don't know. I think that just someone wrote that. Let me share it with you.
Okay, yes, Mickey, please.
Here says that what are the top 10 countries that use desalination, and here it is. Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates, Kuwait. Uh, mm, well, here are other questions.
Okay, yeah, they mix it. They mix them. Okay. Which one is?
Operating desalination plants.
Ah, okay.
mm, Algeria,
Algeria. Yeah.
Australia, Bahrain, Barbados, Chile, China, Cyprus, Germany, India, Israel, Kazakhstan, Kuwait, Malta, Maldives, Mexico, in Baja
Mexico
California.
in Baja. Wow. And that was built in 1960.
So the process, it is not a new process, or
I
how
thought it
it is,
was. What I knew is that it was very expensive, but I didn't know that it was not new.
because in Morocco it is applied in 2022. In Oman 2018, Qatar 1981,
Yeah.
in Saudi Arabia.
Wow. It is very interesting.
There could be well, I couldn't read the response of the questions, but they mentioned that it is not the that this how to say, this process is not like the perfect process, the desalination.
Okay.
Why do you think that? Or let me check why they say that. Mm, Here says, why is
Okay.
desalination not the answer to all the world's water problems, considering that two-thirds of the Earth's surface is ocean?
Okay. So it says that it's expensive.
And the energy that they use for do that?
Uh
Oh yeah,
huh.
1 kilowatt per hour to desalinate 1 cubic meter of seawater. 1 megawatt per hour to desalinate 1 acre-foot of seawater. Not 1 megawatt for to desalinate 1 hectare system. In front.
Okay.
Yeah, they choose the money.
All right. So the thing is that it's costly, not that it cannot be done, right?
Hmm.
Okay. It says that the value of California. Well, the thing is that if countries don't have water, then we have to spend our money in getting the water,
Yeah,
whether it be desalinating the water, collecting the water from the rainfall, installing the gutters, um, using more efficient use of water, making more efficient use of water. Of course, like what we said about irrigation, improving the technology of the irrigation systems. So, do you think we can create a 1 minute audio or video, Mickey, where we say, when we talk about the problem of water, we say, well, we have a great problem of water. The water is becoming very scarce, or we're suffering scarcity of water. The potential solutions are this, and this. And we suggest that Mexico can implement this, and these solutions. What do you think, dear audience? Something like in 1 minute,
yes,
and
sure, we can do it.
invite the people to comment, to make comments. Let's see how many people we can attract making these comments. I might do the same. I might invite people to comment on how to solve the problems of water scarcity. How
Yeah,
about that, Mickey? Yes?
this week. To be honest, the days when I wasn't with my cell phone, I didn't do the reel, but it's something that I have here in my mind and that I'm gonna do it.
Perfect. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, because then you start connecting with the people, with society, and there are many smart people. They can give good ideas, and the idea is that if you make your speech in English, people who speak English, maybe from Canada, from the US, from Europe are going to start watching your videos because they're in English, and they will participate. So you start getting other type of audience, and that may be interesting. I don't know. Could be.
Yeah, yeah, it sounds interesting. I think that it's a good advantage of English because there are so many people who talk this language.
Right, exactly, exactly. Okay, Mickey. So we still need one. We still have one class pending to recover, right?
Yes, sure.
And
Tomorrow I'll go to Mexico City
okay,
but I go in the at 9 I think so probably the bus I think that arrives in Plaza Jacaranda, so I need to be earlier than than 9. Could be if you wish, but earlier than than
very
8.
early
Yeah, or the next week in
during
whatever
the
other
week.
week.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah, maybe next week we'll recover the class. We know that we have a class pending, and we can recover it any day during the next week, maybe, Mickey. All right.
okay, teacher. Yeah,
So see you Monday. I have a wonderful weekend, a nice trip, Mickey. Be
thank you,
safe.
teacher. Thank
Take
you.
care.
Yes, take care and enjoy your weekend too.
Thank you very much. So see you Monday,
See
Mickey.
you.